Hi everybody, today I'm talking about what causes gastritis and how to heal it naturally without meds. And I'm going to share with you the same things that helped my client Derek to overcome his 3-year struggle with gastritis and esophagitis and get off his medications and become completely symptom-free in just 2 months. And side note, if you want to hear more about Derek's story, I will link an interview I did with him down in the description. So let's get into what causes gastritis. First, we need to know what is gastritis. So gastritis is an inflammation and damage of the stomach lining. So some symptoms of this can be indigestion, vomiting, nausea, low appetite, abdominal pain, burning at night or in between meals. If you won't tolerate or desire red meat as much, if you have acid reflux, or if when you take HCl or some apple cider vinegar water, you actually feel worse, and when you eat, you feel slightly better. So how does this happen? It starts when your stomach acid is too low, and I know that might sound crazy, so hear me out here. So adequate stomach acid is needed to prevent the overgrowth of some microbes like H. pylori. So the strong acidity ensures that the right balance of microbes for your stomach is maintained. When stomach acid is too low, H. pylori thrives and it starts to multiply. It then works to decrease acidity even further so that it can multiply even more and really take over. If you have adequate zinc, zinc can actually step in and stop this from happening. So zinc deficiency is a big problem here as well. But if you're deficient in zinc, your stomach acid is about to get even weaker. Then H. pylori can start irritating your stomach lining and causing gastritis, which is inflammation of the stomach lining. And then if it progresses further, it can actually start creating holes in your stomach, which is ulcers. So other causes and contributors to gastritis include autophagy of the stomach lining. So what this is when the cells that line your stomach start to shrink, and they are the ones that produce HCl, stomach acid. So they aren't able to produce as much stomach acid, hence you have less. This is really common when people age. About 50% of people over 50 have some variation of this. Common does not mean healthy. So if you take really good care of yourself, if you work on the things I'm going to share later to actually reverse this, you can fix this. So autoimmune diseases can also increase stomach inflammation, worsening or contributing to gastritis. Alcohol, aspirin, ibuprofen, other medications, refined foods, coffee, cortisol, so when you're stressed and your body has more cortisol. And then another thing that can cause or contribute is bile regurgitating back into the stomach. So this is going to cause an alkaline reflux sometimes. So basically, bile is made in your liver, stored in your gallbladder. When you eat fatty foods, it stimulates your gallbladder to release bile to help break down fatty foods. If you have a blockage somewhere in the bile duct or in that pathway, you can get things kind of routed in weird directions and you can run into a lot of bile flow issues. So this is going to be if you have sluggish bile flow, gallstones, liver stones, things like that. And you can end up actually getting bile regurgitating back into your stomach and sometimes regurgitating back into your esophagus even. And that's when you would get an alkaline reflux. But anyway, this is very painful and it can be confused for an acid reflux. So if you think you might have that, I'll link a video up above and down below that's all about your bile flow and your gallbladder health and how you can actually improve that and address that at the root. So how can you support adequate stomach acid and heal gastritis? This is going to be slightly different than what I've mentioned in other videos where I talk about acid reflux and healing that, because you have to be mindful of the gastritis component here of the low stomach acid. You have an irritated, inflamed stomach lining, and that changes things a little bit. But a lot of the first things are going to be the same things you would do for acid reflux and other low stomach acid issues. So you want to ditch those antacids and PPIs, Tums, anything like that. Get rid of it now. Get off of it. It's horrible for you. It's making this worse. Yes, it might provide a little bit of relief when you do it, but it is making this way worse in the long run because it is decreasing your acid even further, and the root cause of your issue is too low of acidity. So, ditch those. Make sure you're eating really mindfully and relaxed. This will help your body to be able to produce more stomach acid and digestive enzymes and just get everything on a better track. You also want to make sure you're getting plenty of the nutrients you need to make your own stomach acid to ensure you're making the most that you can to help with this. So that's going to be zinc, which you can get from seafood like oysters, crab, lobster, sea urchin. You can get it from beef, lamb, Parmesan, and cheddar, to name a few. You also want to get enough magnesium, which you can get in salmon roe, seafood like halibut, crab, mackerel, blueberries, strawberries, dried figs, pears, coconut milk, cacao, and soaked or toasted nuts. You want to get enough sodium, which you can get from a good quality salt, seafood, olives, salmon roe. You want to get enough chloride, which you can get in quality salt. And then you want to get enough potassium, which you can get in pork, bananas, halibut, sea urchin, trout, avocado, bamboo shoots, dates, dried figs, squash, potato, cacao, and more. All right, so then make sure that you're not laying down for 30 minutes after eating. You really want to sit upright to prevent any kind of reflux is the main reason here, because it's really just not going to feel good, but it's also going to promote optimal digestion. You really want to be upright at the beginning stages of digestion. Space your meals by at least 3 hours apart. It takes around 3 hours for your stomach to break everything down and bring it all into the small intestine. It has to be brought into the small intestine kind of slowly so it can be neutralized as the contents of your stomach is moving into your small intestine. It takes around 3 hours. If you have gastritis and low stomach acid, it might take you a little longer, so it wouldn't hurt to go a little past that 3 hours and maybe do 4 hours between your meals, but at least 3 hours between your meals, because you want to fully eliminate everything in your stomach before you add new food in. If you eat something and then an hour or two later you eat a little more, you now have a mix of partially digested food with new food that has to be digested. And that just doesn't work very well. In a lot of ways, your digestion has to kind of start over in your stomach. Your stomach ends up kind of constantly digesting things if you are snacking and grazing all the time and you're not having those long breaks where your stomach can actually work on healing the lining. So don't graze, don't snack, just space your meals by 3 hours. Okay, you also don't want to eat too close to bed. Ideally, leave 3 to 4 hours before finishing dinner and going to bed. Now, this is not something that is across the board for everybody by any means. I'm saying this specific to people with gastritis and acid reflux because you're so much more prone to getting reflux while you sleep, which is just so uncomfortable and makes it really hard to sleep, and you need sleep to heal. So it's just so much better if you wait and, eat earlier, give yourself that 3 to 4 hours, let your stomach empty out and get everything in the intestines so you're not likely to reflux. That'll work way better. Okay, you want to support adequate bile flow because stomach acid and bile flow have an interesting relationship where they kind of increase the other. So if you have low bile flow, it can actually kind of inhibit your body from making as much stomach acid. Bile is one of the things that helps neutralize your stomach acid when some of it is coming out with your food into your small intestine. So if you do have weak bile flow, if you have pale greasy stools, that would be a telltale sign. If you've got gallstones, that would be another one. Then check out the video that I have linked down below on how to improve your bile flow. Okay, you also want to not overeat. If you overeat, you're going to be way more prone to having that reflux. It'll be a little harder to maintain that acidity needed in your stomach, so really avoid overeating. Avoid drinking plain water and other non-acidic beverages around mealtime. As a general rule of thumb, wait 30 minutes from drinking some water before you eat your meal, and after your meal, wait about 30 minutes before drinking water or a plain beverage. And this is because those will really dilute the acidity in your stomach and make it harder to digest things. And again, not help with that root cause of getting your stomach acid more acidic again. So then You want to also eat plenty of fermented foods to help decrease that H. pylori. So if you are, like I mentioned earlier, eating the zinc, gave you some good sources of zinc, that can help your body stop the H. pylori from directly decreasing your stomach acid, but also increasing other healthy microbes can also start to bring that population down. And if you can get that down, then it won't be able to decrease your stomach acid further, and then you can get it down even more. And if it's down, it won't be damaging your stomach lining anymore. So you want to get fermented foods in regularly. That could be yogurt, kefir, fermented veggies, kimchi, sauerkraut, anything like that. Okay, you also want to have plenty of L-carnosine, which is found in lots of meat to help decrease the inflammation of your stomach lining. You want to get plenty of vitamin D, so get outside, eat fatty fish. That's going to be a good source. Cod liver oil is a great source. So a lot of those things were for actually increasing the acidity in your stomach, and last few are starting to get into more specific with gastritis, but the next one is very specific for gastritis. So you want to have cabbage juice or cabbage, so like sauerkraut, definitely have lots of sauerkraut, and then you want to have either cabbage juice or have like wheatgrass juice, something with chlorophyll in it, because these are really, really helpful for healing your stomach lining in gastritis. So you want to have that regularly. Now, after you've done all those things for like 2 or 3 months and you're noticing a lot of progress, if you're improving, you likely will still have low stomach acid. You'll likely still have low stomach acid. So if you do, the next step is you want to start increasing that acid even further with apple cider vinegar or butane hydrochloric acid. So how you want to do this is if you're doing the apple cider vinegar water, you want to use warm or room temperature water, and you want to do 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar to 16 flow ounces of water. So that's 2 cups. And then add a little pinch of salt in there as well. So you can drink that starting like right before your meal, after a few sips of your meal, just earlier on in your meal. You can do that with some meals. You can kind of half the dose if you want it a little bit different, but that's the ratio you should stick to. And that is one option here. You can do it once a day. You can do it with each meal. If you're doing it with each meal, I would half it so that you're having 1 cup of water with 1 tablespoon apple cider vinegar. Otherwise, it's going to be a lot of liquid and it's going to be hard to get that all in. You can also take apple cider vinegar supplements. I know some people like that as well. But the other option here is to take the butane hydrochloric acid. So that is stomach acid. So with that method, what you would do is you would take 1, usually they're about 600, I think it's milligrams. So you would take 1 right after like a few bites of your meal, and then just continue. If you take it at the end, sometimes the acidity can kind of like stay at the top of your stomach and not mix in well. So you want to take it right after a few bites. Now, if that feels good, do it again for a day, whatnot, maybe 2 days. If that's all feeling good, increase it to 2. Same thing, do that for a day or 2. If it's feeling good, you can increase it to 3. And basically you want to increase it. Some people will end up taking 6 with a meal. You can take a lot sometimes. You want to increase it till you start to feel that like warming sensation, and that means you've gone a little too far, and then you want to go back. So if you were taking 4 and you start to feel kind of a warm sensation, go back to 3. So you want to go to a point where you're not having any symptoms, you're not getting any acid reflux, you're just not feeling that. And at the same time, you're not going so far, you're feeling the warm sensation. So you want to do that for a little while, and then you can start to gradually decrease that. Now, those are options. Every case is gonna look a little bit different in what's better. If you start to feel worse when you have a little bit of apple cider vinegar water, or you're first starting taking a little bit of HCl, that means that you are not ready for this step and your stomach lining is not healed enough. So the main reason we don't jump to this is the acidity doesn't feel good on the inflammation and damage to your stomach lining. So you really have to heal that first before you can add too much acidity. So the other things I talked about earlier really help the root cause of why you're not making enough stomach acid. They help rebalance your microbiome, and they help make sure you're getting the nutrients you need to repair your stomach lining. So that all sets the stage, and then adding this apple cider vinegar water or hydrochloric acid at the end helps to increase the acidity a little more. You can digest your food more, you can get more nutrients out of it. It just helps to get everything on the right track. It's not something to do forever. You get to wean off of this. You will be making enough stomach acid on your own, and you will be healed of gastritis, healed of the root cause, and you won't be predisposed to just get it all over again. So this video was a suggestion from one of you guys. I just want to let you know I love hearing your suggestions, and I love making videos that I know somebody in particular wants and will benefit from. So if you have any suggestions for future videos, please leave them in the comments. I do read your comments and I do take your suggestions seriously. I really like making videos that, like I said, you specifically want. So leave those down below if you have any suggestions. And then if you'd like more help healing your specific gut issues at the root, I do offer a program called Ancestral Gut Healing, where I help you to heal your chronic gut issues at the root using the principles of ancestral nutrition and some other holistic health practices like the ones I was talking about in this video to help you get symptom-free and pain-free ASAP. So if you'd like to learn more, you can book a call with me. I will leave a link in the description. On the call, we'll go over your health history, your current gut issues, and I will share what I think you need to change in order to heal and how I can help you with that, as well as the logistics of how the program works. So if you want to learn more, definitely book a call with me. I would love to share more with you. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.